There were complaints on Canada's Drag Race last time. I'm just like, oh, hey! Hi! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 7 All Winners Edition, Episode 11. But before we get to the good stuff, I want to thank the people that make this all possible. First off, this week's Tipper Dues. Huge thanks to Devon Lloyd. Good luck with your audition tape, my darling. I loved it. It was fabulous. And Reverie Rise, I just want to say I love you, doll. Also, Patrick Hartman used my link tree to make a Tipper Due. I love you too, Patrick. A few of you have asked me if I take Tipper Dues through apps other than PayPal, and I'm still waiting for Venmo to make it to Canada. Unless it already has. I don't think it has. But in the meantime, I just found out that YouTube's Super Thanks is available on my channel. I call it the money heart because, well, that's what it looks like. Anyway, it's down below just under the screen, and it's called a Super Thanks. And I haven't looked too much into it yet, but if you're looking for an alternative way to support this channel, check it out. I'm gonna. We also have a brand new glamorous Redbubble model to objectify. This is my good friend David Voglet, rocking his two different Wilma Pride tees by Lar D'Souza. Last year's Wilma Pride and this year's Friend of Jorge. And just a reminder that any proceeds I receive from Redbubble for any Wilma merch with Lar's Friends of Jorge design on it will be donated to Rainbow Railroad, a fabulous charity here in Canada that helps out LGBTQIA brothers and sisters escape political persecution in other countries. I have a link to them down below if you'd like to know more. Go ahead, check it out, I'll wait. Now, Jorge, drink me! Okay, so why is it brown? Is it a Long Island? Oh, it's a Toronto Island iced tea. I don't know if I want to drink this. Yeah, I can almost taste the algae. Yeah, Toronto Island. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Jinx was feeling a gamut of emotions after snatching her 4th Legendary Legend star. Trinity was feeling pretty chuffed too because she not only broken the curse of the roast, but now she's a top queen with a guaranteed place in the finale. So far. Poor gutter Shae, Trinity's words, not mine, was feeling a whole different range of emotions, being the only queen with only 1 Legendary Legend star before the Lollapalooza SmackDown. Felt like she was getting a SmackDown right now. Jada wasn't feeling too safe with her 3 stars with 1 challenge left, especially after getting roughed up by Trinity. Bless. The next day, Ru arrived with the Queen's last challenge of the season, a charity variety extravaganza with the winning queen receiving $30,000 to give to a charity of their choice. The queens would also be taking part in a tic-tac chit-chat with Ru and Michelle. And that's not all. This week's challenge would be worth 3 Legendary Legend stars. 3! Finally! There's hope at the end of Shae's tunnel. Oh, that sounds dirty. If she can land in one of the top 2 spots and Jinx doesn't, Shae could be tied with Jinx for the most Legendary Legend stars. Well, as you can imagine, the queens were gooped. Shae, on the other hand, was revitalized. Trinity was the first for a tic-tac chit-chat. She, Michelle, and Ru talked about Trinity's Southern pride. Trinity explained that she's proud to be from Alabama because of how she turned out, and hopefully it'll give some small-town Southern boy hope. I love that. Trinity's charity was Planned Parenthood. I like that too. Used to chair Trinity. Good for you. Vivi'S Chat touched on her difficulties competing as a foreigner and the fact that she's been a fan of most of the queens before she herself won Drag Race UK, so there was some fangirling to get over. Vivi's charity of choice was Trans Lifeline. Monet, decked out in her own merch, of course she was, chatted about how touring the world and meeting people who just want to express themselves has changed her and her drag. She also told Ru to dust off her season 5 opera glasses because she was going to be singing opera in the talent show. Needless to say, Michelle and Ru were intrigued. Monet's charity of choice was Color of Change. Evie talked about her struggle with Ehlers-Danlos and how she's aware she's starting to lose some of her skills. Evie also talked about how it felt as a child to want to protect her mom from physical abuse and how that influenced her choice of Charity to be the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. It's you, Evie. Good job. Shae chatted about how she more or less accepted defeat and was ready to support the other queens before the 3 Legendary Legends star boost was revealed. I have to say, I like Shae's charity of choice, the Period Poverty Project. I never would have thought about sanitary products for young women in schools, but they're needed. We have so many body issues and stigmas. There's no need to add bodily functions to the mix too, seriously. Unless it's gas, because that's funny every time. See? Roger talked about how she still had her original Tic Tac lunch Tic Tac at home. She also talked about her dad and how proud he was for her season 3 win. Roger also talked about how important trans women have been in her drag journey, which is why she chose the National Center for Trans Equity as her charity of choice. Jinx chatted about how she'd come to the race to do her very best and how proud she was of how it's all gone so far. Ru was proud for her too. Remember when she totally forgot her name at DragCon? Jinx also chatted about how being sober for 2 years has helped her become a stronger performer. Ru got teary talking about her sobriety and then put the focus back on Jinx and her charity of choice, which was Black Visions Collective. Jada's chat was about how she was happy to return to the race so quickly because she put a lot of pressure on herself that first time. I was so touched to hear her get teary over how she's been living her life for herself now and not avoiding the pants covered in stars because someone would say she looked gay. It's silly how we can live our whole lives for a person we pass on the street in less than a minute, isn't it? Jada's charity of choice was Free Black Therapy. Just a Jada. It's the doll. And then it was time for the Charity Variety Extravaganza. Now, I'm not sure what's going on over there in the hair department over at Drag Race, but this is the second less than worthy hair for Miss Ru. Just me? And what's going on with that outfit? It's not that I hate it. Maybe it's the white belt. I don't know, but Ru's proportions look odd. No? Michelle was keeping it casual with her pony puffs and button-down blouse. Carson Kressley was dapper in his blue check tux jacket sans cravat, and joining the judges this week from the hit series Hacks, the ultra chic Hannah Einbinder. Seriously, if you haven't seen Hacks, check it out. It's a hoot. Now, I know I can hear the rumblings out there. This second talent show that's now worth 3 Legendary Legend stars is a little suspicious to some of you. Just when Shae needs a Hail Mary, there it is. But this is where the rubber hits the road. There were 4 lip sync acts, including Shae's. Trinity, Evie, and Jada danced it out to their own tracks as well. And although they all had wow moments or finishing moves, Trinity's sweet tea bath, Evie's misdirection off the top with the trunk, or, well, Jada's face, there was something about Shae's performance that transcended the others. I felt like I was transported to a Janet Jackson video, which, let's be honest, could have been the hair fan. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd pay money to watch any of those queens live on stage, but of the 4 performances, Shae's is the one I remember the most. Seriously. As for the Vivi, fabulous song aside, because she sang it live, she really couldn't dance it out, so she relied on the backup dancers, which was never a bad thing, but I felt it made Vivi look lackluster. And as colorful and exotic as Roger's Balinese dance was, it lacked that certain something to push it over the edge too. I mean, a little confetti in a fan goes a long way, I am just saying. Which leaves Monet and Jinx, who both killed it singing live, but I agree with the judges that Monet's operatic number was a huge surprise. No one expected her to sing like that. Jinx, on the other hand, well, that could have been a typical Wednesday for her, or just how she gets out of bed. So I agree that Monet should have eked Jinx out of a win, but they're both in the finale along with Shae and Trinity, and that's the point of all these shenanigans. Seriously. I am so sorry that Jada's not going to be in the finale, but I will say this. Monet was true to her word. On day 1, she and Trinity made a pact to help each other get to the finale, and Monet made good on her promise by picking Trinity. Just a friendship, I'm just going to say. But the surprises weren't over. Vivi, Jada, Roger, and Evie weren't done yet. Ru had a surprise for them, but she let them sweat it out while Monet and Shae lip-sync for their legacy. $10,000 and an additional $30,000 for the charity of their choice. They got to lip sync to Supernova by Kylie Minogue. And I have to say, I was really looking forward to this. I think it's safe to say that Shae and Monet are two of the best dancers in this cast. So I was expecting a lot from them, and I wasn't disappointed. My favorite part was when they started dancing in sync, purely by accident. But while Monet took a more languid approach to the song, Shae tore it up again. So while both queens did an excellent job, there was just a little more pepper on Shae's ice, if you ask me, which is why I wasn't surprised that it was Shea Coulee who won the lip sync. So here's to Shae and the charity of her choice, Period Poverty Project, for their $30,000 as well. And here's to everyone else's charity who got $10,000. Wow, just giving it away over there on Drag Race. As for the losers, Ru's surprise for the 4 queens who didn't make it to the finale was that they would be competing in their own lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown for a cash prize of $50,000 and the title of the queen if she already done had hers. Needless to say, the queens were gagged. Speaking of being gagged, did anyone else notice Trinity's lip sync outfit? What am I saying? How could you miss it? But I love the fact that she was prepared to lip sync in that outfit. God bless her. Speaking of things one may have noticed, did anyone else notice this? During the judges' deliberation, Ru said gender F word instead of actually saying the F word. 15 years in and now she's starting to censor herself? What's that about? Also, did anyone else notice that next week is the lip sync Lollapalooza SmackDown for the crown? What do you think about the queens who made it to the finale? Do you feel the triple legendary legend star boost was a fix to keep Shae in, or quel fureur, others out? And what do you think about the losers getting thrown a $50,000 bone? What do you think about production making them dance for it? Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And check out the links in my description box for ways that you can support me and my channel. Until next week, miss me! Seriously, I was talking to my drag daughter, Magnolia Sugarbush, about the fact that we have 2 tiers. We have the $200,000 winning tier, and then the $50,000 winning tier, and that one person will win $200,000 and 3 won't. Like the runner-up, the second place, and the third place won't get anything, but the 4th place person will get $50,000. And I thought that was a good point or a good concern, but then, although they don't get as much, Miss Congeniality gets more than second place does. All-Stars, every one of those queens won at least one lip sync. I think they all got at least $10,000 in tips. So, oh my God, I'm so excited for next week.